with our most loving, humble pranams at the lotus feet of our dearest Lord. It is Swami's will that we have gathered here today for this Sai leadership workshop. I just want to highlight to you, just before we started, there was a glitch in connectivity and there was some problem. But as Swami said, there's no problem that's insurmountable if there is teamwork. And we had a number of brothers who were very quickly trying to fix the problem, and out of all that turmoil, Sister Nitya, in an awesome silence, just materialized some cables. So the next thing is everything is set up. What I'm saying is the Shakti principle is very important in anything we do. Dear visitors, we have gathered today. I'd like to introduce you a person who's quite familiar with us. He has been with us at our last retreat, the conference. That's Brother Vignesh. Brother Vignesh is the National Council President in Australia, and he has come over, very kind of him, come over to assist us, to share with us this Sai Leadership Workshop, which he has been conducting in all the various states in Australia. And under the zonal recommendation, we are supposed to have this as a zonal workshop through Zoom. But he has kindly agreed to come physically to have a face-to-face workshop with us. So without much ado, I'd like to welcome Brother Vignesh, and let's get this workshop going. Thank you.
Saram, everyone. Very good morning. Very good morning.
Good morning.
I don't know if you all had breakfast, but I had fantastic breakfast at Auntie Sudeshna's house, or sister, I should say. And that has definitely woken me up. Now, usually when I go to do these workshops from Sydney to Queensland or anywhere else, normally I'll say that the warm welcome is often influenced by the weather outside, because sometimes it gets very cold, windy and wet, very similar to Melbourne. Sydney is now competing with Melbourne weather. In a day we get 4 seasons. But coming to Auckland, it's the opposite. It was burning hot in Sydney that the moment I landed and got out of the plane, I'm so thankful for the cloudy weather, for the cold weather here in Sydney. So very much grateful for the weather that Swami has presented. But in this room, very grateful and thankful for the warm welcome by everyone. Because the love that emanates from everyone is generally what that warmness is all about. So, today's workshop, if your expectations is, by the way, I've got some PowerPoint slides. It's a 5-hour workshop, and 5 hours generally equates to about 332 slides. So just bear with me. Actually, there's no more than about even 30 slides, or probably even less than that. I didn't even count, but nothing more than that. Because there's this thing called kill by PowerPoint. And that's one thing that I absolutely don't like, having too many slides. Very, very few slides. But the whole premise of this workshop, number one, it's an interactive one. So you're not going to sit down for the next 5 hours and listen to one person sit down and talk. Because I genuinely think that all of you all collectively have more than enough wisdom as the leadership team, and also chosen by Swami. We're all here today for one reason and one reason only. Number one, as what Uncle said, it is because Swami made it happen. Number two, the second reason actually, is because of the love that you have for Swami and the love that Swami has for us. It is only because of that we are here. Now, a quick show of hands of who are current present office bearers. Show of hands of those who are aspiring and want to be office bearers. Just pan the camera that side, Uncle, to get the answer for that question. So my KPI is this. At the end of these 5 hours, by the end of the 5 hours, when I ask that question again, everyone's hands should be up. Not just one, but two. Both their hands should be up. Now, I'd like to just do a little bit of an exercise. And for this, I'd like you all to just close your eyes. Sit however comfortably you want to sit. You want to lie down also, you can lie down, no problem. But just for a moment, for the next few minutes, close your eyes and think and feel that you are in Kulwanthaw, sitting down in Kulwanthaw. Whether you've been to Kulwanthaw or whether you have seen videos of Kulwanthaw and pictures of Kulwanthaw, you know how it looks like. Through the experience shared by those who have been there, and for those of us who have been there, we know how it feels like. Now picture Kulwanthaw with the energy of the bhajans that's going on. Tune into the energy. That energy is welcoming Swami as he steps out from Yajur Mandir. And as he makes his way towards Kulwanthaw, all of us are eagerly in tune and connected to the beautiful lotus that's floating into Kulwanthaw. And as Swami makes his way, we are just in absolute awe of that love that emanates from him. And we can feel that energy, that positive energy that comes from him. And he makes his way towards the crowd and he walks amongst his devotees. And now he comes and stands right in front of you. So imagine this beautiful figure of love is right in front of you. And you connect with Swami. You look up and gaze at this beautiful form, his lovely smile, and he's connecting with you. Now there's this eye contact between you and Swami. And there's a conversation that happens. And now Swami lifts his robe to give you an opportunity to take Pad Namaskaram. You're still looking at Swami, eye to eye, this intense eye to eye connection, and Swami gives that opportunity for Pad Namaskaram. Now I would like you all to just keep focused on the image, but open your eyes. You can open your eyes right now. When Swami gives the opportunity for Pad Namaskaram, we tell him, "It's okay, Swami, thank you very much. I don't need Pad Namaskar, please give it on to someone else." Imagine uttering those words. Imagine even thinking of uttering those words. It's quite unimaginable, isn't it? You are there waiting for what is possibly an opportunity of 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000, 1 in 1,000,000. And when it's there, we tell him, "It's okay, thank you very much. Please pass it on to someone else." But in actual fact, that's what happens. When someone comes and taps us on our shoulder and say, "There's an opportunity for an office bearer role," we give all the 10 reasons not to accept it. And it's akin to telling Swami, "It's okay, thank you very much, please move on. Someone else is better. Someone else has the time. Someone else has the skills." We are making, the best part is we don't make the decision for ourselves, but we are making the decision for someone else. Now I grew up in Malaysia, and a lot of y'all know that people like Uncle Jaga and Suresh Govind, who from Malaysia, they used to go to India a lot, and when Swami was still around, they had the opportunity, almost every visit that they go, they have the opportunity of having an interview with Swami, having an interaction with Swami. And in almost every interaction with Swami, Swami will bless them and materialize something. It's not only both of them, that's just to name a couple of people, but so many others as well. And they will come back from the interview room or from India, and they'll show Swami materialize the pendant, Swami materialize the chain, Swami materialize the watch, head to toe accessories, Swami will materialize for them, including vibhuti and such. I never had that opportunity. In fact, I never had that close proximity with Swami at all. But I used to always yearn for that. I used to always yearn for, Swami, it's so nice, you know, and all these people come back with, you know, that gift that Swami has materialized for them. But I don't have that gift, that physical gift that Swami has materialized. So how can I connect to you? So I used to always ask that question. And over time it dawned upon me that the ultimate gift that Swami has given us is the organization in itself. In addition to that, the gift that Swami has given us is the opportunity to serve as an office bearer in the organization that he has established. So, just similar to how, can you imagine if we had a gold pendant, gold ring, gold chain, gold watch, anything that Swami has materialized, how carefully we will look after it. How lovingly we will look after it. We will put it in the altar, we will revere that gift so much. And that is the gift, that is the same affection, that's the same energy, that's the same emotions that we need to also treat this gift that Swami has given us. But the reality of it is, for those of us who are current office bearers, not all, but the reality of it is this: at the end of the term, or towards the end of the term, hand to heart, how many people will say, thank God my time is coming up. Thank God the 2 years is finishing. Thank God the responsibility is going to go to someone else. I see a few giggles and smiles because that's the reality of it. And this is not, anywhere I go, this is basically the reality of it. So, how do we change that? How do we transform that? Swami has clearly said, the purpose of the organization is to elevate our consciousness. The organization is for here to transform ourselves. Not for us to come in and transform the organization based on our views, our opinions, and our convenience and such. The transformation has to happen within us. So, I'm going to go around the room, and by the way, this is an interactive workshop. Everybody is going to participate. If you think that you're just going to sit down and listen to someone talk for the next 5 hours, absolutely not going to happen. If you're not going to speak, I'm going to force you to speak. And the caveat is, at least I leave tomorrow morning to Australia, so you cannot hunt me and say that why this fellow made me do this. So, I'll start with myself. And everyone, this first round, we're going to introduce who we are. Of course, you all know each other. For the benefit of me, please introduce yourselves, who you are, what is your role currently in the organization. If you don't have a role, perhaps if you were holding an office bearer role, the bonus is if you introduce, I would like to hold this role, that will be the bonus. And professionally, what do you do? That's another thing. Professionally, what do you do? Okay? So I'll start. So my name is Vignesh. I come from Australia. I'm now serving as the national president, an opportunity, a wonderful gift and opportunity that Swami has granted to serve as the national president of Australia. Professionally, I work for an organization called Oracle. It's a typical IT-based company. And I'm the director for North America, Asia Pacific, and Japan. And my role is, I'm a strategist. So in essence, we look at processes, we look at business outcomes, and how we can best harness and yield positive outcomes from the technology solutions that we actually have for Oracle customers. So every day I look at how we can best harness and optimize solutions and bring together people, process, and technology to give positive business outcomes. There's no such thing as ladies first and then the gents. Anybody, but considering we have a room full of about almost 40 people here today, I think we'll do it in an orderly manner. So, brother, who you are, what you do currently in the organization and professionally.
Salam everyone, my name is Michelle, as most of you. Currently in the organization, I don't have a role, but I just help out here and there wherever needed. Professionally, I am a logistics assistant for a company by the name of Prime Pack Industrial Limited. They do packaging supplies, and as a logistics assistant, my role is to dispatch orders as accurately as possible, most of the times.
Very good, very good. Vignesh. He was the former young adults coordinator.
Former young adult coordinator.
Yeah.
You had some doubts about that?
Salam everyone. My name is Naman. I serve as the Papatoy Science Center Demonstration Coordinator. Professionally, I'm a plumber. I work for Auckland Plumbers Group. Yeah, that's about it.
Very good, very good.
Salam everyone, I'm Sai Sato. Yeah, similar to Michelle, don't really have a role but help out where I can. Professionally, I'm an engineer working as a data engineer for Ernst & Young.
Right. I like what you have on your jacket, engineer.
So everyone knows that.
All right.
Salam everyone, my name is Cyril. I currently hold a role as Centre President. And professionally, I work as an accountant for a firm called Roger Reddy's, and it's an insolvency and restructuring firm.
Salam brother, I'm Mandar. I was former youth coordinator, national youth coordinator. Currently taking care of kids.
Taking care of the next generation of youth.
Absolutely.
Professionally, brother, what do you do?
Yep. Professionally, I'm an enterprise account manager, so I'm a problem solver for IT as well.
Exactly what the organization needs. Problem solving. Very good.
So, Prashant, and currently serving as the National Devotional Coordinator, and I work as a medical oncologist in Rotorua.
Very good. Thanks.
I'm Ravi. I'm the service coordinator for Mountain in the center, and I was a treasurer of the organization for a few years.
Right. Okay.
My profession is accountant.
Are you still the treasurer, uncle?
No, I'm not the,
Okay.
not the treasurer.
Okay.
Not the treasurer anymore. Yeah, accountant.
Yes.
I'm still working as a.
Salam everyone, I'm Shaitran. I help out with music and this. And when I'm not doing this, I help keep cows in line electrically. I'm an electronics engineer.
Right. So you say keep cows alive?
I keep cows within
Oh, right. Okay.
regions.
Right.
I build electric fences.
All right. Okay. Let's go this side. Let's go this side and then we'll come back.
Salam everyone, my name is Supriya and I'm currently visiting my parents back from India, so I'm here for a while. So no role in specific there or here, but I would love to serve in any way possible. And professionally I'm a dietitian.
Salam, my name is Shobi. I'm currently not holding any position in the organization. I've previously been the ladies' room coordinator and helped out in secretarial work in the organization. I don't mind helping out. Professionally, I'm a general medical practitioner and run my own practice, so that's kind of taking most of my time, which stops me from taking extra responsibilities, but I don't mind taking anything in the future if my time permits, or I'll make time for it.
Hi, my name is Bharati and I don't have any role in the organization. And professionally, I'm a pharmacist.
Salam, my name is Subhanki. I'm at the moment Center Bhajan Coordinator. So at the moment I'm not working. So, thank you.
Future Center President.
Sairam, I'm Sadhana. I don't currently hold any position. Everybody's forcing me to, but we'll see. I currently am working as a physiotherapist in the Bay of Islands, so I'm a bit far away. That's one of the reasons why I don't want to commit too much, but I like helping around, doing
all the activities with the SSSIO organization.
That's it. She's in the secret service of. Okay, we'll see.
Okay. She's Nitya. She's our zonal coordinator, a very active youth member, like we all know, a very good singer, and professionally homemaker. and she's an engineer. She part-time work is property manager, and she has a beautiful property as well. You must see, brother. That's it, thank you. And she's got 3 beautiful children. I am Nikita Sairam. Professionally, I'm a patient care coordinator. I used to be the regional coordinator for Auckland. And Bhagwan's grace and will, I'm happy to take if anything comes up in future. What is it?
I'm Aroha Chapnikar, 4 years old.
Future coordinator.
Salam everyone, I'm Dharma. I'm currently the Young Adult Coordinator of Beaumont Eden Center, and professionally I'm doing my Masters at the moment, so I'm just studying. Yeah.
What are you studying?
I'm doing an MA in psychology.
Saira, good morning. Arabi is my name. I'm currently National Young Adult Coordinator and currently a doctor.
Salam, brothers and sisters. Professionally, I'm a mental health pharmacist working for Health New Zealand, Waikato.
Salam everyone, my name is Vaidi. I have a very big role in the organization at the moment by being a good devotee. Thank you.
Most responsible one.
I'm Gulab. At the moment, I'm the national reporter for the SSSIO. Professionally, I'm a consultant town planner.
Salam everyone, my name is Girish. I am the ex-chairperson for Royal Oak Center, currently known as Bilimoria now. We are so privileged to be in Bilimoria Center. We all act as officials. We all contribute. We are very blessed to have a chairperson like Cyril with us. Professionally, I am an
Salam everyone, my name is Monty. I'm semi-retired to part-time movement. And at the moment, I'm holding a role as the sales coordinator for our center.
Salam, my name is Teddy. I'm the East Auckland president and the national disaster coordinator. I said disaster very softly for Prashant's benefit. Professionally, I've got 2 professions. Number 1, I'm a shipping and costing officer in the paper company. The second profession I have is a devout husband.
So is that in order of...
Hello, Saira. My name is Praveen, currently the North Shore president. And professionally, I am a businessman looking after my business at the moment. Saira.
Salam everyone, my name is Ashwin and I'm from Henderson and I present center president. And professionally, I do kitchens, not cooking, but we do cabinets. So.
I always say that everyone asks me whether I cook or not. I say I can, but whether it's edible and digestible, I don't know. I can't guarantee.
Sarah, my name is Krishna. Currently, I'm holding a Zone 3 Humanitarian and Relief Coordinator. certified preschool caretaker, sign house caretaker and librarian, medical care and logistic, and I'm retired.
So I'm Anil, I think I'm the service coordinator for the region.
Why? By the end of today, 100%.
And professionally, I work in risk management for Westpac.
So, my name is Walter. I'm from Kathmandu, Nepal, a long time in New Zealand. I don't hold any position in the organization, but we, with my wife, help to run the center from long time. And professionally, structural engineer. We run a consulting business with my wife.
Shalom, I'm Shalom. I'm the service coordinator and I work as a surveyor.
Salam, Brother Vignesh. I am a spiritual aspirant and very privileged to be in the same organization. Salam.
Professionally?
Professionally, I'm a doctor.
Okay, pass the microphone.
Which I'm sure everyone knows, yes.
Salam everyone, I'm Gayathri. Currently I work as the Center President for Mount Eden. Professionally, I work as a training manager for the Health New Zealand, managing the northern region.
Salam, my name is Goki. Previously I held positions in the SSSIO organization as a spiritual convener, which I loved it due to personal commitment. I currently don't hold any positions, but definitely when Swami makes it available, when the time is right, I'll be more than happy to serve in the organization. Professionally, I'm an IT operations manager, so I look after the IT systems for my clients. Thank you.
Om Sairam, I'm Barbara, retired credit controller. I've been in the organization with the SSE, ladies convener, and now at the moment not sure, devotional convener.
Loving Sairam, I'm Shobna. Currently I hold the ladies wing coordinator at Papatoy Site Center. Professionally, I am a commercial banker at BNZ. I look after a client base of businesses with turnover up to 20 mil.
Sairam, I'm Fenella. Currently I don't hold any positions, but I'd like to hold a position. Professionally, I'm a business administrator for international and sea freight for a logistics company.
Salam everyone, I'm Priya. I am currently the Secretary for the Council and the Northern Region Ladies Coordinator. Professionally, I work as a midwife and nurse educator. And just one little thing, my devout husband has forgotten to say that he's also a very good cook.
Sairam, I'm Charmaine, Ladies Coordinator for Hamilton. I used to be in IT project management, currently semi-retired doing life coaching.
Salam, my name is Usha. I have worked in retail, but I don't work anymore. I'm not holding any position currently, but last 2 years I have been assisting with coordinating the budget for our center.
Salam, my name is Manu Shrestha. I don't hold any position in this organization, but I do love to help. So, and professionally, I'm a structural, architectural designer.
Saram, I am Jodi, and I am from your home country, very happy to say. Currently residing in Hamilton, and I assist our center president, Dr. Amrat, whenever he's not around. Right? And as to what I'm doing right now, I would like to call myself the Home Minister. And I'm also a secretary at home, if you know what I mean.
Sairam, dear brothers and sisters. I'm Shobha Shetty. I've come from India 18 months back, and I was taking classes there in India. Also, I used to go to the school to teach EA in human values. And now here, Sai sisters, SSC sisters especially, they welcomed me wholeheartedly for Parvikas. We were grateful to all the Sai sisters and brothers. Lovingly said once that new Sai land and truth be it. Thank you so much.
Om Sairam. My name is Sudeshna, and I hold two positions. I'm the National Ladies Coordinator and also the Regional Devotional Week Coordinator. And professionally, I work for NZIA, and I'm a customer service rep there.
Sairam, my name is Dharna. Currently, I'm the devotional convener for Bilimoria Center with a lot of help and assistance from my beautiful center. I'm also the community coordinator for Ramamai Preschool, and professionally, I work for Dr. Dinesh Lal and his family and their dogs.
Sairam, I'm Neelu, and in this organization I'm the Regional Coordinator for SSC, Auckland region. Professionally, I'm an insurance claims consultant.
She declines all the claims.
Only yours.
Sairam, I'm Pallavi. I'm currently the Mount Roskill Science Centre President. I'm also a SSC teacher and the Teen Youth Coordinator for the Auckland region, and professionally I work for a business in the FMCG industry, and I'm an account executive in it.
Sir, I just want to make one humble comment. I'd like to pay tribute and a deepest appreciation for those who don't hold any position and yet are present today, and have said they are willing to take up position in the future by Swami's grace. The other thing I'd like to really comment is that some of the devotees here are very, very humble, especially those who are retired. I can vouch for that right now here. They are one of the greatest Hanumantas in the organizations. At every event, every project, every activity, they are there doing the work. They may be retired, but they give their heart and soul for Swami and the organization. And Dinesh Lal has been very, very humbly put himself so simply. He is the trust chair.
Yeah.
Just to make the point clear to everybody.
Thank you, Uncle. So that exercise serves two purposes. Now the national president, the regional presidents and center presidents, if you all are finding for people who need to fill up positions, there are so many people here who have no positions at the moment, and some have said that they would like to take on positions. So that is one purpose of the exercise. Second purpose of the exercise is, how well do we actually know each other? We know each other once a week, we step into the center, we are Sai devotees. But is being a Sai devotee a part-time activity? Is being an office bearer only in that once a week, that once a month, or whenever there's a regional center activity, regional activity, or national activity? Is it only then? How well do we actually know each other? So today's workshop is all about breaking down the barrier and back to basics, which is what the two breakout sessions are going to be about. And it's breaking down that barrier in knowing that Sai family is not a line that we draw only when it involves activities within the organization. Being a Sai devotee is something that's life-changing. Being a Sai devotee is something that who we are, regardless of whether we are in the context of a center, or whether in a gathering like this, or whether we have an activity that involves the organization, or who we are actually when we carry ourselves. Because everything that Swami teaches us, everything that we have learned from all his discourses, from the messages that we read, we listen to, the videos that we watch, it is for the purpose of enriching our lives. And the opportunity that Swami gives us as an office bearer is to then translate everything that we have learned, everything that we have heard, and everything that we are experiencing as individuals to share. That's it. Being an office bearer is not about instructing people. Being an office bearer is not about standing here and telling people, you do this, you do that, this is what I want. No. It's about sharing and bringing everybody into that journey. Now, as we went around the room, I can very, very confidently say, I'm surrounded with very smart people. And we make smart decisions. We are now cruising and traveling in this plane at the altitude of that cruising altitude of making smart decisions. The purpose of the organization, as I said earlier, which Swami said, is to elevate our consciousness, is to go from that plane of making smart decisions to making intellectual decisions. That's why Swami said, is to elevate that level of consciousness. Because when we make smart decisions are influenced and driven by the mind. And the mind often tells you what you want to hear. So we go into modes of doing analysis, evaluations, and sometimes the decisions we want it to satisfy our outcomes, what we expect. There's this culprit inside us all the time that is called expectations, and we want to meet our own expectations. It is not about expectations of what Swami has laid out, it is not the way how Swami has guided, but deep down inside there's always this thing called our own expectations that we want to meet. That is the fundamental flaw that we actually have as individuals, let alone as office bearers. So as office bearers, Swami gives us challenges. Now, the organization is not immune to challenges. Sometimes we think, this is an organization by God, this is an organization by Swami, He's given us the 5 human values, He's given us the 9-point code of conduct, He's given us the 10 commandments, He's given us everything else. This should be a very peaceful organization. The journey here should be very, very peaceful. As an office bearer, there shouldn't be any challenges. No. It is a place of its highest challenge. It is the place of where you'll find so many different conflicts. I'm telling you truthfully, honestly, because truth was the first value that Swami introduced. So truthfully, I'm telling you, as an office bearer, you will face the biggest, most challenging time of your life. With one caveat, you have God there to guide you and to give you the solution to all the problems. And experience tells you that. And experience is what we need to continue to share. I was telling yesterday last night over dinner, SAI means a lot of things. We all know that, service, adoration, illumination, and that acronym means a lot of things. But it also means share and inspire. We hear a lot of stories like what Arvind, or Suresh Govind, or anybody who have had that experience of the physical proximity with Swami, and they share all their stories, and that helps us relive those physical moments of Swami. But now, in the formless era of Swami, we have to continue to share our day-to-day experiences, which gives us that confidence, which gives us that affirmation that Swami continues to live with us. And as an office bearer in the organization, that's the opportunity that Swami gives. Because in anything that we organize, and that's another thing that we have to remember, fundamentally we have to remember this. Any event, including today, if it was meant to happen, it will happen. Whether I'm the one who's standing here with the mic, whether you all are sitting here on the floor, or everybody that's sitting in the chair, this will happen. But we are here today because Swami has gifted us this opportunity. Now in the lead up to, that is where the journey is. Often as office bearers, we think that the outcome is the most important thing, and we forget that the outcome is actually what Swami wants and how he wants it to happen. Our journey as office bearers is the learning that lead up, all the conversations that we have, all the planning that we have, all the differences of opinions that happens, all the personality clashes and conflicts, that is where the learning is as an office bearer. We often forget about that. Because we always think that, oh, as a devotional coordinator, I have to organize the budgets, I have to find out how many singers are coming, I have to see who the tabla players, who the harmonium players is. As a service coordinator, I have to make sure the soup kitchen is happening, homeless feeding is happening. So everything becomes a routine. And that's what happens. As office bearers, first we find out what our predecessor did, and then we, at minimum or at the basic value, we continue those things. Why? Because that is what the role is. So it becomes a tick of the box exercise. It becomes a routine. So at the end of the day, when we ask for the report, what have you done? So I've done the soup kitchen, I've done the bhajans, I've done this, disaster relief, we've packed, 100 hampers, this, that, everything. We have done this gathering, we've done this fun activity. All that happens regardless of whether we are office bearers or not. It happens because Swami wants it to happen and he makes it happen. The question we've got to ask as office bearers is, how has that enriched our spiritual journey? How has that uplifted us? Are we still frustrated? At the end of our term, people who we are excited to interact with, at the end of the day, do we say, thank God I don't have to deal with this person anymore? Hand to heart, this does happen. I myself sometimes, I think to myself, why do I have to deal with this person, Swami? Why have you put me there? And that conversation, that why is again the question that we constantly ask. But we should stop asking the question why. Because Swami says, everything happens only with His will. He has said, not a blade of grass will not move without His will. But we keep asking the inquisitive, why? Because we want to satisfy that mind. Mind, M-I-N-D, is Maya in disguise. Is the illusion that is created by the mind that we want to satisfy that, driven by the senses and the stimulation of all the emotions. And you put mind, M, and the E, which is emotions, that is the recipe for the ego, me. So everything is about me. It is what I want, it is how I want it to be, it is what the outcome is. And when it doesn't go our way, when it doesn't meet our expectations, that's when we have all sorts of conflicts. So today's breakout session is to break that down. Let's go back to basics. Let's identify what the barriers are and break down those barriers. Now, as I said, as an office bearer in this organization, we will have a lot of challenges. No doubts about it. I'm not going to stand here and tell you that no, it's all flowers and all these kind of things. It will happen. Yes, it will happen. One side of the coin, which we constantly look at, and everything that happens around us conditions us to naturally look at challenges. Spirituality enables us to flip that coin and look at the equal surface opportunity of the challenges. Often we don't do that because our emotions drives us to only look at these challenges. And conveniently, it's because of this person, it is because of that. And another thing, right? Now, you would think that, conducting or being in this type of a talk and an event like this, we've done it how many times? How many times have we had someone who came and stood here and spoken, and we've all been in workshops so many times, right? But still, today, we almost didn't have a PowerPoint display because of a simple cable. We take things for granted. Lesson number one as an office bearer is don't make assumptions. Do not take things for granted. That's including myself. I've done these sessions in Australia. I told Uncle Gunnar and I spoke, but I forgot to tell him that, Uncle, I actually have a laptop with HDMI and it would be great to have a projector with HDMI cable. I made that error. I made the mistake. And it's owning up to that mistake. I'm not here to then say that, you know what, New Zealand, they have such an old projector, VJ cable, it's not even, it's dinosaur. This is equivalent to the T-Rex of the dinosaur age. Right? But no, I made the mistake. I should have told, this is my laptop, I'm using this, I only have an HDMI connection. Do you all have something available? Or we work on alternatives. So the question is, do we first acknowledge and then subsequently work together break down the barriers, back to the basics, and work together as a team. So, and working together as a team is not only in our roles, it's really understanding who we are and having that confidence and that trust that we are there to support one another. So, I promised you all an interactive workshop. Interactive it's going to be. Actually, before everybody stands up, we're going to do 2 exercises. It's called the trust fall and the trust lift. You all know what it is? Great, you can help me facilitate it. All you do, and I'm not going to fall because there's no one behind me right now, we're going to do it in groups. Everybody is going to participate. Yeah, everybody is going to fall back. Fall back, because sometimes this thing, people are all standing in the back and they end up falling in front. Has happened also. Listen to instructions, that's the most important thing. Okay? Put your arms together and fall back. Don't look back and see who's behind you. Blindly have your faith in God. There's a God in all of us. And fall. And see whether your team, your family, right? It is not just a team of office bearers. This is a family. Whether the family is there to catch you. And for heaven's sake, please make it a bit fun. Some people just go 1 inch, okay, I've fallen down. Fall. In some of the, by the way, uncle, I got to ask this, the caveat. In Australia, I confidently did this because we have public liability insurance. Is there insurance that covers Is there insurance that covers this? Yeah. I know we have medical doctors here, but insurance that covers. Okay, I was very confidently I can do this in Australia. Here I have to confirm. Otherwise, okay, good. Because you know I flew across the ditch to come here. I might end up being in the ditch if I don't meet requirements. Okay, so I want everyone to do it. So we have to do it in groups since there's a large group here. Let everybody get up, and maybe this group here can form a small little group here. You all can form a small little group. The folks at the back, just find a space there, and then the uncles and gentlemen. And please mix it up a little bit as well. So the young adults can go there, some of the elderly folks can come to the front, and even here as well. So I've already given my instructions. I'm not going to repeat the instructions. Form the group. Everybody needs to go through this. Okay? Oh, I think I almost saw someone falling to the front and went, Father Namaskaram.
This professional doesn't trust anyone.
Okay, all your wish cannot be here. Brother Dinesh?
My comment was, you still should not have blind trust.
Yes.
You have trust, but you look back how far you have to fall.
Correct. The communication is important. Yeah.
See, some of us need to lose weight.
Today's workshop is office, there is not unhealthy. I should caveat that as well. At the front, any comments?
We should have gone lower.
You should have gone lower, that's it, good. More challenges. So, in essence, my question to you all is, with all the feedback that's provided, did you all have fun?
Yes.
Did you all enjoy it? There was so much of laughter, not only doing the exercise, but also seeing others fumbling as well, right? Brother?
Uncle Mark had the best technique of using a cross grip.
Very good.
And then I suggested let's go down on the knees so we can fall low.
Very good. Please remember that for the trust lift. So, Auntie?
It just shows how difficult it is to trust.
Correct. It shows how difficult it is to trust. Something that's very, very simple, but equally it can be quite challenging as well. And that is because, again, it comes back down to how well do we know each other. Do we just limit ourselves with interactions within the center and within coordinating events? Because then we become event coordinators. We are actually not a SSSIO family. You know, we don't really practice that we draw the line between our own family, our own personal responsibilities, and then what we have to do as a SSSIO devotee, let alone as an office bearer. So the whole premise of that exercise, as simple as it is, but it's got a lot that we can learn from. And that's basically what it is. It's bringing it back to simple, basic stuff that has very, very profound meaning. But not just knowing that I can stand here today and just go slides after slides. So-and-so said this, so-and-so said that, Swami in 1968 said this, in this summer shower discourse. All of us can read that. The question is, how do we put it into practice? As a SSSIO devotee, number one, as a SSSIO devotee, because we don't put it into practice, and I'm including myself in this, because we don't put it into practice, Swami says, not good enough, I'm now going to make you an office bearer, so that hopefully that gives you that opportunity and that sense of realization to put what I have taught you into practice. That is what an office bearer's role is all about. It is not about going and telling people what to do, it's about realizing and the opportunity that Swami has given us to live his messages. And it is through our thought, word and deed that we inspire others. Our role is not to actually inspire others and change others, right? It's to change ourselves. But our thought, word and deed should naturally have that effect. So, how confident and how trusting are we with the people around us? We are SSSIO devotees. And like what Auntie said, you know, so difficult to trust. How come? How come it's so difficult to trust a SSSIO devotee?
It was very apparent in Sister Sudeshna.
By the way, she's giving us lunch, so can I trust her? Okay, I trust you since the lunch. So, but see, the thing is this, right? How come that something as simple as trusting a SSSIO devotee, how challenging it is, right? Something as simple as, let's forget about everything else. And communication. That's the other important thing as well. Communicating with one another, having a formula, working together as a team. I didn't go and tell them, the group at the back, you all have to cross your arms, even this group here as well, cross the arms. No. But the team got together, they communicated, and they even told the person to fall, how to fall. That's the other thing as well, right? So that support, that confidence needs to be there. Now, the question is, from this exercise, how can we then apply it in our day-to-day? That's the most important thing. Because let's face it, right? When we organize Shivaratri, when we organize Aratna Mahotsavam, when we organize Ishwarambadi, when we organize everything else, there are still some fundamental challenges. There are still some very, very basic issues that sometimes over the 40, 50 plus years of the existence of the organization, we make some fundamental flaws. Why? Because we overlook the basics.
We forget the fun factor.
We forget the fun fact. And on the fun fact, spirituality is not a military, rigid exercise or organization. Spiritual discipline is important, and the discipline is working within the parameters and the guidelines of what Swami has prescribed to all of us through his discourses, through the 9-point code of conduct, to the office bearers' guidelines, how to operate a center. All that Swami has given us already. So the answer is already given, but we have to work within those parameters. If you think about it today, the guidelines and everything else is this, like this piece of table here, where the projector is on. Now, you can put the projector at the front, in the middle, and at the back. No problem. The moment you put the projector outside of the surface of the table, what's going to happen? It's going to drop. When it drops, you don't blame the table. You didn't put it on the table. So again, as office bearers and as devotees, if we don't work within the parameters and the guidelines that's provided, and we choose to defy, and we call it challenge the norm, then expect significant consequential challenges as well. The surface area of the guidelines gives us enough room for creativity, gives us enough room for us to respect each other's views, opinions, and apply changes and really be creative. When you go through all the centers, even in New Zealand, let alone like in Australia, we've got all the centers across the country. One center will start the bhajan with 1 Om. One center 3 Ohms, one center 21 Ohms, one center will chant Swami's 100 in it. It doesn't matter. Point is, the center, the devotional gathering happens within the guidelines. Whether it's 1 Ohm, 21 Ohms, 3 Ohms, doesn't matter. But don't go bring AC/DC, Metallica, Guns N' Roses music into a center and say that is how I connect to spirituality. That is not the forum for it. Right? So don't work outside of those guidelines and then transform the organization. We are here to transform ourselves, not to transform the organization. Okay, so we are now going to go into breakout session. We'll just finish activity number 1. Journey of life. Okay? From 0 to, can be validated by the children here. 0 to 5, we experienced many spills. We've all been 0 to 5 years old. We experienced many spills. 6 to 16, we undergo drills. Right? Parents will tell, must do this, school teacher will tell, do this, all these kind of things. 17 to 25, we discover thrills. Once we graduate, new set of friends, we go out, we leave the home, we experience thrills. 26 to 40, we have to start paying bills because all the commitments and all the responsibilities will come. 41 to 60, we suffer many ills. 61 to 75, we have to take pills. Journey of life. 75 and beyond, we worry about our bills. What do we hand on to the next generation? That's the question we've got to. This is the journey of life overall, right? So again, ask the question: what makes us different to others? Why? Why are we here? What is the opportunity that Swami is granting us that we have to harness? You see, Swami is the source, akin to the sun. When you get closer and closer to the sun, what's going to happen? It's going to get hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter. Eventually, you will see at the boiling point, right? Being in the organization, being an office bearer, as you go closer and closer to the source, it's going to get hotter and hotter. It's going to get more and more challenging. Eventually, the boiling point comes, and then you evaporate. What evaporates? The evaporation is the evaporation of the ego, of the I identity, and then merging with the source. Spirituality teaches us how to harness the sun to the benefit, how to harness everything that Swami has given us, and as office bearers, all the tools that Swami has given us to harness that source of spirituality, that source of love in our day, how to enrich our day-to-day lives. Okay, and the question we've got to ask ourselves, as I said, is why are we here? What is the end goal? More importantly, throughout the entire journey of life, through the spills, drills, thrills, bills, ills, spills and wills, where is Swami? At the end, as the last breath, we all have that yearning that Swami must be there to welcome and embrace us. But throughout our life, He is there to welcome and embrace us. It doesn't have to be on the last breath. Okay, then, fear. We have this fear. We don't take office bearer roles, that apprehension is there, that fear is there, and then we say, okay, it's okay, thank you very much, forget everything and run. We have to convert, transform that fear to face everything and rise. have the confidence, that trust, the confidence of everything that Swami has given us through the existence of him in each and every individual collectively. Okay, so we're going to go into breakout session number 1. Now, the breakout session is broken into 2 categories. Back to basics and break the barrier. We're going to divide into 4 groups, and I'd like a mix, right? So the young adults with the adults, and so we form 2 groups here, and likewise here as well. I think we've got tables, there'll be 2 groups at the back, and there'll be 2 groups here. That's how we can do it, Uncle, so that we can fit everybody. And 2 groups will focus on back to basics. Now, the back to basics is, in this breakout session, is just identify challenges and opportunities. That's it. Think about, discuss at a center level, at a region level. What are some of the basic elements that we have overlooked or we need to look at? Don't go into solution mode in terms of how we're going to solve it. That's breakout session number 2. First is to identify some of these challenges. Simple things like opening time of a center, a region program, where it's held, what time it's held, what is involved, how do we actually plan these things. That is one group. Second group, break the barrier. What are some of the barriers that we actually have here in New Zealand? I can list out 2,000 barriers that we have in Australia, but you all can list out only 20, no problem. So just what are the barriers that you all have here in New Zealand, right? Barriers between adults and young adults. How do we strengthen the dynamics that draws the line, between the young adult group and the adults? That's just one example. There's so many other barriers as well. Think about it, right? Really put it out there, and I want everyone to participate in this, because at the end of the day, the solution that we're going to come up with collectively, which is breakout session number 2, is one of collective wisdom. Each and everyone is going to have a shared accountability into how we're going to resolve some of these very, very fundamental challenges that we have. Remember what I said earlier, we look at challenges. Spirituality and Swami enables us to flip that coin. Our purpose is to flip that coin and look at the equal surface opportunity that we have as well, and how we collectively work together towards solving an issue. How we put our individual needs and wants and expectations aside. We talk about surrender. Surrender is a topic of a workshop for another day. But very briefly, surrender is actually equivalent or proportional to expectations. The higher expectations we have, the lower we actually surrender. Yes or no? We say, Swami, I surrender to you. And then I expect this person to come on time, I expect this person to bring this person, why this person didn't do that. All the conversations will happen in our mind. Because the expectations is there. It's driven by the mind. The Maya in disguise, it fuels these conversations internally. So the lesser we reduce our expectations, you will naturally notice your surrender is greater and greater and greater. Do your part. We are there. We are actively involved in a conversation, in a planning. We contribute, but it's not just an opinion or a view. It's okay, how can we do this together as a team, like the exercise that we did just now. So breakout session number 1, and we've got to break for lunch at 12. 12? Okay, so we've got about 45 minutes. So very quickly, one group one group from the ladies go there, one group stay here, one group from the gents move to the back, and one group stay here. You'll be given butcher paper and markers, and list out, talk, and this is a very safe space. Talk about some of the challenges when it comes to back to basics, and category number 2 is break the barrier. Any questions?
Just identify some of the challenges and opportunities. Challenges, things that we have overlooked, at the center level, at the region level. You will find that once you start point number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will come automatically. So it comes to some of the barriers that we actually break the barrier. So let's identify those challenges and opportunities. Don't go into solution mode, right? Just some of the barriers that we actually have. At the center level, at the region level, center level, region level, national level, barriers that we have. Don't go into solution mode. Just list out those items. Yeah?
How do we bridge that gap? Create communication, but we not
How was the session?
Very good.
Very peaceful?
Not
Eye-opening?
eye-opening.
Same old, same old?
Yes.
Exactly, right. But the question is, how often do we actually sit down like this? And maybe you all do it. Maybe you all do it. But how often do we actually sit down in the company of what we have today, which is office bearers, non-office bearers, to actually talk and discuss some of these challenges and opportunities? That's a question for you to answer. I don't know. But equally, after this, breakout session number 2 is collectively coming together and working out on what the solutions are. Not just leaving it to the response. Sometimes we distance ourselves with the organization. And it's very normal. We think that the organization is a third party, they haven't done that, they haven't done this and all that. Organization is us. It's an opportunity. Swami is the one who brought us into the organization, right? So we are the ones who are responsible to uphold Swami's guidelines. We are the ones who are responsible to ensure that we are welcoming and embracing to others as well, whether we are an office bearer or not, a newcomer or not. You see, it's very easy to pass on opinions. It's very easy to give feedback. That's very, very easy. All of us, we are driven by our needs, we are driven by our expectations, and we just pass on our feedback. But when it comes to taking that responsibility, that ownership, that accountability to collectively work together and not expect someone else to do it. See, even Swami also had that expectation. For many, many years, he said his life is his message. But he then realized that he himself cannot do it on his own. Everybody needs to come together to uphold his words. And that's why he said, your lives are my message. Otherwise, till the day he left his physical form, he could have said, my life is my message, my life is my message. But the importance and the essence of what Swami said then is how we come together as a collective group to then, yes, it's easy to identify, it's easy to point one finger, to someone and say, that is your problem, that is your fault, you are responsible. But the age-old saying goes that you point one finger, the remaining 3 points back at you. How ignorant and oblivious are we sometimes to those 3 fingers to come and say, you know what, I'm going to be the change that I want to see. I'm going to help, I'm going to be a part of it. And that is what the office bearer opportunity is about. Again, it's not about instruction. It is not about going in there and telling people what to do. But it's about living and experiencing Swami. And it is through that transformation, everyone sees how things can work out peacefully, truthfully, lovingly, non-violence, and right conduct. The 5 human values that Swami has given. And you will find, now the other thing is this. So we had a breakout session where we all divided into 4 groups. And then this joker came in and split the groups, right? And then told you all, you all have to split into groups and all that. Why? There's a reason for that as well. How often when we are coordinating things, whether at a center level, at a region level, at a national level, we are all very intensely focused on something, and then somebody comes and throws a stone and creates a ripple into the discussion. How welcoming and embracing are we to new ideas? How welcoming and embracing are we to new suggestions? Number 1. Number 2, when someone new comes into the group, whether it's a non-site devotee or whether it's a site devotee, office bearer or non-office bearer, center, region, national, whatever, How welcoming are we to embrace the person and bring them in the journey as a collective group, as a SI family? Or does the person feel isolated? Number 3, very common, I can guarantee I'll get a few smiles when I say this. Certain individuals and characters are very dominant in discussions. I got more smiles, I even got laughters also. So it's a fact, not limited to just New Zealand. Australia also has that, Malaysia is the champions for that. We have a lot of that also, right? So people are very, very dominant when it comes to, and then some people are just quiet, so we break that flow. Give everybody an opportunity. That is what it is. It is not all about just, this is my opinion, this is what I think, this is what needs to happen. No. How embracing are we of everybody's time? How respectful are we by everybody's presence? Who also equally, there's not more or less, equally, we are all representatives of Swami. National President doesn't have a higher representation, the small child there doesn't have a lower, nothing. Another lesson that I just learned just now, this little kid here, all we all were discussing, there were some toys there, he rolled the car as I was walking, and then he came to me, so what I did was I bent down and I rolled that car, right? So it went back to him. And he pointed another car to roll it back to him as well. Now I could have said, do you know who I am? How can you ask me? But that's what happens. So I learned the lesson there, right? So I bent down and I rolled. But it was fun. That smile in the child's face itself was enough for me to know that, he was happy and I was happy. And that's what it is. Because often this is what happens. Now again, if we transport ourselves to Kulwant Hall, in the presence of Swami, and Swami is walking and coming. So just imagine that Swami is walking and coming. And then there's a piece of paper, a little bit of rubbish in his walk path, a few meters away. You will see all the Marvel characters will come in. Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, all will dive in without even being asked. Will clear the pathway of Swami and make sure that it's a clear path. And if they can do, they will throw petals of flowers and all that to make sure it's beautiful path. Now we transport ourselves to New Zealand, transport ourselves to Australia, whatever. There's a little bit of rubbish, that red carpet we lay in front of the altar, and then we go and say, some brother, some sister, auntie, uncle, can you please clear? Very reluctantly they will move, but in the head, does the fellow know who I am for him to actually ask me to come and pick this up? I've been a devotee for 25 years, this, that, I'm an office, but that is what will run in the mind. Again, I'm seeing a lot of smiles because that is what happens. Why that sense of duality? We say that Swami is everywhere, but the point is, do we actually believe it and do we actually, more importantly, practice it? That is fundamentally where the problem is. Sometimes we say something, but the action doesn't necessarily reflect what we actually say. So the whole purpose of the exercise is, number one, collectively we identify challenges. It's not a pinpointing exercise, it's not a blame game, but instead it's an opportunity to really get down to some of the fundamentals in terms of how we want to develop the blueprint. Those pieces of butcher paper is not going to go into the recycle bin after this session. It is going to formulate the blueprint for all of you all collectively, because this is what's happening there even in Sydney. 3 months down the road, I'm going to every region and asking them, what is the outcome from the blueprint? How has that translated to the centers? How has that translated in terms of impact to the center members? But when we talk about impact and growth, first and foremost, and I know there are a lot of discussions about number of resources and such, first and foremost, we also equally need to understand this. Recruitment and rejection is not our responsibility. We are not here to recruit members and to reject members. That is only Swami's responsibility. If we go around the room today, and if I ask each and everyone to describe how you came into the organization, some may say, I was born into it, like these beautiful children. Some will say, through an acquaintance at work, one day, a photo was shared and then somebody asked me to come to a center budget. Some will say, I married my spouse whose family was a sadhu. So all of us have different experiences in terms of how we came. None of us, and please prove me wrong, I'm happy to be proven wrong. None of us woke up one day and said, today I want to be a member of the SSSIO organization. Anybody? Okay, nobody said that, right? So, the decision was never ours to begin with, for us to now then make a decision, where to go and where to be involved. It's Swami is the one who welcomed us. Swami is the one who brought us and given us that opportunity to develop and to nurture our spiritual journey. That is fundamentally what we need to remember. But our activities, and that is where we'll go into solution mode, our activities must be developed in a way that is all embracing, all welcoming, so that people will look at the purpose, not at the people. Some people will come because the other person has gone, so I've gone. Some people will not come because the other person is there, so I don't want to go. Don't do it because of the people, do it because of the purpose. That is the most important thing. Okay, so critically I'm standing between you and lunch. So we're going to go for lunch right now. But before that, we are going to go into the second activity, and this is a very important activity before lunch. It's called the trust lift. It will be very difficult if we do it after lunch. So now let's break it up into groups again. Stand up. The trust lift is very simple. Come, Prashant. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Can we do that one?
Hope so, huh? Okay. Okay. So all you do is cross your fingers, your hands, lock it. Yeah, that's it. Okay. All you do is just lock it this way, right? And then the other person has to sit and then lift the person.
It's like Bollywood dance.
Those are the instructions. Thanks. Those are the instructions. Creativity is yours. Whether you want to hold the chair and then let someone sit on the chair and lift or whatever it is, entirely up to yours. Right? So let's break it down into groups. Everybody needs to participate. Trust lift. Come.
Okay.
They're not only lifting, they're doing also.
You have to sit completely.
Okay, alright. Come. Again. How did you all feel? Good, exciting, fun. Any learnings?
Double trust lift.
Any learnings anybody would like to share? Very interesting
Trusting each other.
Trusting each other, yes.
Good arm workout.
Good arm workout. We'll be better after that.
And I think it is just good teamwork and encouraging one another.
Encouraging one another, that's it. Very good. Very good.
I worked out that the young adults can carry us.
Wow. Young adults. Very impressed. Problem solving, yes.
There was a question. There was a question by Aroha. How come they use 4 people to lift someone up? I said that's strategy. They used it.
Correct. Problem solving, like what she said.
That's right. Yeah.
Strategy is come. There, again, what I said. The guidelines are there.
Yeah.
You're just given an instruction to work within the guidelines. How you work within the guidelines and use your creativity and come together as a team, collaborate, cohesively work together, trust each other, extend that love to one another. The mutual respect is what makes things happen. It's what materializes the result. That's the most important thing. Any other feedback?
And I think from my observation, lifting in itself is a positive feeling.
Yes.
For example, if I just take the example of Barbara, when we asked her to fall, she was very hesitant. She didn't trust us. Because I was falling, it's like, there's a bit more mind game there. Whereas lifting is in itself is an uplifting experience, as Salva said. And that was a positive outcome for us. She was happy to take part. And I think it's how we play with words. And she trusted us this time because it was an uplifting for her, whereas falling was something not really a mind could take.
Something along what Koki is saying, I think
I think the trust was more the second time round because we built the trust the
Yes,
second time round.
exactly.
So
yes.
we have to work on
Correct.
building trust.
Correct. So the communication needs to happen a lot more. We need to come together a lot more, not just only meet once a week, once a month, once in a few, once in a year, or whatever it is. You know, just as a tick of the box exercise. This is a family unit. As a family unit, how frequent are our interactions to build that relationship, to build that warmth, to build that respect, so that the trust will flow easily. Trust is not a burden. Trust is something that flows very, very easily. It's a very fundamental quality that we need to have. But again, we talk about trust, we hear about trust, but then how is it that we actually apply it? It comes back to simple exercises like this. The challenge is now, after this, after lunch, when we go into solution mode, apply those fundamentals that we have learned through these exercises respectfully, and then work together in coming up with solutions. Now, we're not going to solve the world's problems today. Identify one or two points in what was discussed and opportunities, and then come up with some solutions, because this has got to be an ongoing exercise. Uncle, you want to say something?
Two things. I think the lifting is basically the organization, and the teachings are there to lift every member up.
Correct.
The second thing is what the Koki was mentioning about the falling and lifting. You'd like to share the example of the advertisement of the aeroplane, the staircase.
Yes. So all of us know that now many planes went lost, but we all know for sure that Malaysian Airlines, there was one plane that went missing. And also after that, unfortunately, there was another plane that was shot down. Very, very unfortunate incident. So this is again mindset, you know, how things in front of us visually can play with our mind. There was an escalator in one shopping center in Malaysia that they used the escalator, the side wall, as a space of advertisement. And they had a Malaysian Airlines plane there, downward, instead of upward. Right? But it was a very genuine advertisement about Malaysian Airlines. But the netizens took it to town. Right? And again, it's the optics. When you look at that straight away, what does it mean? We don't even bother going into the information as to why they did that, but straight away, why? Because we are conditioned by what happens around us. Your mind gets conditioned very, very easily. Anything else you want to add to that?
No, it was going downwards, so it was a very bad sign.
It was a very bad sign. Yeah. It was a very bad sign, and again, you know, it has a very negative connotation to it. And even when you talk about negative connotations, often when we come up, when in discussions in workshops like this, there's a very common thing, and I don't know whether it was mentioned in any one of the breakout groups, challenge the norm. Did that come up in any? Yes. It came up. Okay, they came up. Challenge the norm. These are guidelines that is given by Swami. Honestly, we got to ask ourselves, what are we actually challenging, right? It is not about challenging the norm. It's about being creative. There is nothing wrong in being creative. But challenging the norm automatically has this negative connotation to it that something is wrong, right? And then we need to challenge. Or, you know, we don't like it. Again, it's expectations. But it's all about being, we can be as creative. And I think incidences like COVID and all that has really taught us to be creative. Even the split in the organization also has really taught us to be creative, so that we are not just sitting comfortably and being complacent with the way how things have been going. Human nature is we get very, very complacent. Now I'm getting stares from sister there because the food is getting cold. So, but admittedly, you know, it is lunchtime right now. Any questions before we break for lunch? Okay, so lunch, we'll come back here at 1 o'clock or just past 1 o'clock. We'll go into breakout session number 2. But let's gather back here before we go into the breakout session. And if there's no other questions, then let's we will chant Brahmapan.
Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi Brahmanau Brahmanahutam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahmakarma Samadhidaha Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashra
how good was lunch? Very good. After lunch is often the biggest challenge for any presenter. Continue to capture the attention of everybody who's present. So, in order to continue to keep the energy levels up, we are going to have another activity. As I said, it is interactive. You're not just going to sit down here for 3 hours and then listen to somebody talk. You're going to be participating actively as well. So I'm going to hand it over to Arabi right now and accompanied by Nithya to take us through what the next activity is going to be.
Alright, Sairam everybody. It's time to keep ourselves awake after lunch. So we're going to form groups of 3, so 3 in a group. So if everyone can form groups of 3, try and keep some space between yourselves in the groups, and then after that we'll explain the instructions for the activity. Sitting is fine. So groups of 3. So person number 1, you're going to come up. Sister Nithya will have a photo and she will show you the photo. Alright? And then it's your job to come back to your group and try, ultimately, for the person number 2 to make whatever's in that photo using the plate and the fruits. But person number 2 cannot use their eyes. Number 1 can't use their hands. So somehow number 1 and maybe number 3, so number 3 can communicate, they can use their speech, but they can't use their hands. So you need to figure out a way, how are you going to make this picture with person number 2 who can't see, but they can use their hands. So somehow number 1 and number 3 need to work together to make the picture. Does that make sense? Okay, so every group you should have person number 1, person number 2, person number 3. Person number 1 is going to come up to Sister Nithya and she's going to show you a photo on her phone. Okay? And then you need, nice try. And then you need to come back to your group and somehow convey to the group what that photo is, but you cannot speak. And you cannot use your hands. Now person number 1. That's the game.
Face expression.
Person number 2, is the person that ultimately has to make whatever the photo has with the plate and the nuts. Person number 2 can speak, they can use their hands, but they cannot see. So they're going to be blindfolded. Person number 3, you can speak, you can use your eyes, but you can't use your hands. Okay?
What is number 3's role?
So person number 3, you can, well that's up to your group to decide. How are you going to use person number 3? To touch on, like first of all, how easy was it?
It is difficult, but it's also
It's a difficult exercise, but it's important to listen to instructions because we generally form an opinion in our mind and we tend not to listen. So I think this is a very clear indication of listening is a great skill, and then follow the instructions is another great skill that I picked up.
Teamwork. You
Anyone else want to add? I suppose for person number one, we're going to go from each person. So person number one, how easy was it to communicate what you had to do when you couldn't speak and you couldn't use your hands?
I'd say as person number one, not be able to communicate is difficult.
Sarah, we're just listening to some of the feedback.
As number one would have been easier if the person asking the questions asked questions. So I didn't know if they understood or not because they were not asked questions. And because I couldn't speak, I was limited. So yeah, asking questions is important.
So it was actually difficult communicating without speaking or without the hands. I got frustrated, I had the nuts up.
So, yeah, it was very difficult to not to speak and use your hands, you know, and then I started using my feet as the other alternative of not using my hands. And that was, I think it helped my communicator to communicate. I use my hands.
Interesting. Anyone else? Number one?
Number two.
Number two. Oh, yeah, ready up. We'll go on to number twos who are blindfolded. How did you guys feel?
As number two, I thought my job was just to hold the plate.
Any other number twos? Come on to reflect.
Number two.
I think for number twos it was following the instructions as well as trying to form that image in your own mind as well, so that you know what you are creating.
I had total trust and faith on the people who were guiding me.
And the number two, I feel like it's a teamwork. One was trying to explain what's in it, and then you try to make it to figure what's in your mind. And because you're blindfolded, so you can't see it, so just try making it, and it's a teamwork basically.
So we'll just quickly wrap up. For anyone who was number three, anything you'd like to add, being the third person?
No, you are.
Like to, any number three? Uncle? Yep.
I was number three, yes. Then realized that was the most important task out of the whole thing. Having to communicate, trying to ask questions and find out what the person was portraying, and then communicate to number two to get some action going, precise instruction kind of thing. So, anyway.
Any other number three, Santi?
As it says, it is number three was important, and we got to communicate and teamwork. Team is together, everyone achieves more.
Any last comments? Or yes, you can eat nuts. Yeah.
And don't go nuts.
All right. Thank you everyone for participating. I'll hand it back to Brother.
Thank you, thank you. A big round of applause to the body. So, in the feedback that I heard, there was a lot of buzzwords: teamwork, collaboration, listen more, and all these things. So, it's not that we don't know what are the qualities and qualifications to be part of the team. It's not that we don't know. It's not that we don't know what is the recipe for success, what is the recipe to work together. But the question that we've got to ask ourselves is, why do we then become ignorant and oblivious to these things when it actually comes to working together as a team, whether it is at a center level, whether it's at a regional level, or whether it's at a national level. Now, during lunch, I saw, I went back and saw very nice tablecloths. There's a few that y'all can pick up. white tablecloths with very nice designs. It's red, blue, black. You can take it back home and put it on a table as well. I'm referring to the butcher paper that you all were using. It cannot be just something that's just discussed and written out, and then that's it. We just pass on our feedback, and that's it. Our job is done. Each and every one of us here. So this is a segue from the exercise that we just did, and moving on to the second breakout session. We need to make sure that the shared accountability is there. Again, it's very easy to give feedback. We are surrounded naturally where, even in the age of social media, we just continuously comment and give feedback, right? But how often do we actually want to actively get involved and make a change? Actively get involved and be part of making the difference. Actively get involved and experience Swami collectively, not just individually, not just go sit in the altar, chant 3 ohms, chant the prayers, sing the bhajans by yourselves. No, but come, why Swami said group devotional gathering is important. That is, in the 9-point code of conduct as well. So Swami has prescribed everything already. So the fact of the matter is, we have to come together. The other thing is how these activities brings to surface some of these very basic and fundamental attributes that we often take for granted. Again, we talk about teamwork, we talk about collaboration, we talk about listen more. We are given 2 years to listen more and 1 more to talk less, right? But we do the opposite. We talk more and then we listen less, right? So again, it's not that we don't know, but when our expectations are not met, that is when we put everything aside, whatever else that everyone has to say, and we just bulldoze our way through. Cannot happen. So long as we continue to do that, I can guarantee you challenges will keep happening again and again and again, simply because we have not learned. We have not realized those lessons. We have not been, we're not listening 2 times more than talking. We're not being respectful in terms of other people's opinions. So now the challenge is this, right? So we spoke about all this, we did this activity. When we go into the breakout session right now, let's apply what we have just learned. That shared accountability. Now let's work together. We're not going to find a solution for everything that's listed in the butcher paper. The workshop will then be extended for 1 week. We're only going to identify 1. If you're able to identify 2 items, great. Work collectively in terms of how we can find an amicable, workable solution that will allow us to put into practice everything that we have just learned and come up with a solution that is going to work. Now, the thing is this. If a solution doesn't work, we're not finding for a silver bullet answer. There's always room to be creative. There's always room for us to try. It doesn't work, try. It doesn't work, try again. The determination needs to be there. The perseverance needs to be there. The patience needs to be there. Often what happens is our patience runs very thin, and when something doesn't work, we just give up. We say, no, it's okay, it's not my problem, it's someone else's problem, they can deal with it. No, that's wrong. It's actually our problem. Because that is our first and foremost fundamental responsibility as a side devotee. Not just as an office bearer. How the center is, how the organization. If there's no side devotees, there's no center. No center, there's no region. No region, there's no national. No national, there's no... Directly or indirectly, each and every one of us are affiliated with a much larger community and a much larger organization. So it's our responsibility to make sure that we carry forward all that is being discussed collectively. So collective wisdom, right? We've all got fantastic experiences amongst each and every one of us in this room. I was going around listening to all the different breakout groups, a lot of issues that was raised, a lot of common issues. The good thing is this, there's a lot of overlaps. So we're not seeing 100 different things. We're probably seeing 10 same things that's being discussed. Now, one of the reasons, I think I mentioned that earlier, that I broke the groups midway was because to bring that sense of uncertainty as well, which is what we face regularly, right? Not just in, and think about this is not challenges that is unique to the SAI organization. Even at work, we also experience these kind of challenges. How do we apply it there? It's the same thing versus how we apply here. It's not that, the approach is different. And finally, SD. Can anyone tell me what do you think SD is?
Self-discipline.
Self-discipline. Yep. Anything else? So we all know that when we take digital images, we have now evolved in technology called high definition, HD. And when we don't accept anything less than that, we want to make sure that when we expand and we pinch and expand those photos, there shouldn't be any distortions, there shouldn't be any pixelations, right? That is our expectation. So SD is Swami driven. Anything and everything we do has to be Swami driven. Only then you will see success, but not in your time. That's another thing. Our expectations as well. We expect instant gratification in terms of outcomes and results. Not going to happen. Remember, Swami himself said, the reason why we are here, number one, born as human beings, number two, to be close to God, is because of the multiple births. That cycle of multiple births. So our expectations in terms of outcomes also needs to be realistic. We may not see, as a national president today, we have a plan. For me, in Australia, I'm referring to, we have a plan, we have the council group, and we have a discussion. But sometimes those outcomes may not even happen during my term. Outcomes may happen way after my term. It doesn't matter because it is not my outcome. It is not my legacy. That's another thing we need to remember. Sometime back when I was in the region team, about 10, 12 years ago, I was the region deputy president, and eventually I became the region president then. And one of the committee members in a meeting said, we have to leave a legacy. Our legacy needs to be there. Then we hand off to the next set of committee. It is not our legacy. We don't create a legacy. That means, can you imagine, every committee that comes, they create their own legacies, then this is, it becomes a disorganized organization. We are an organization. The only legacy that we have to fulfill is Swami's legacy. That is the only thing. So we've got to put all our expectations aside and just follow through what Swami has given us in terms of our guidance. Be mindful of our emotions. Be mindful of our thought, word and deed. Be respectful. Go back and to the 5 human values that Swami has given us. Truth, love, peace, right conduct and non-violence. That should be the guiding principle. Okay, so now those who were group 1 earlier, go to group 2, group 2 move to group 1. Similarly, group 3 goes to group 4 and group 4 goes to group 3. I want you all to mix around and you all are going to look at what was written on the what was identified as opportunities and challenges in the first session, back to basics and break the barrier, and now look at and discuss some of the solutions that we need to list out to some of the issues that was raised. Remember, a lot of things was listed. We are not going to resolve everything. But start getting into the mechanics of how we can work together, respect the views and opinions of everybody in the group, and come up with solution that's quite amicable that we can then collectively carry out, either at the center, regional, or at the national level as well. Any questions? But don't worry, I will split the group halfway as well. Any questions before we split?
So the group 1 people will look at the group 2 chart.
Correct. So basically, whoever was here originally, just swap areas that you all were sitting, and the back ones, similarly, you all just swap as well. Any questions? Okay, let's move. So this will be a 30-minute exercise, and in 15 minutes, the uncertainty will be.
One group missing, 4 groups missing.
Another indication on whether or not the workshop is going okay or well is the number of drop-offs after lunch and out. So it looks like everyone is still here, so that's good. So you all are still engaged. Okay, so random feedback. How was breakout session number 2? Excellent. Good. Great. Eye-opening? Eye-watering? A lot of eye-watering moments as well. And even sometimes you think to yourself, but this one we discussed 5 years ago, we spoke about it then, why are we still talking about it now? Why we're still talking about it now is because we expected someone else to make the change and not us. That is why we're still talking about it now. So, again, shared accountability. Did you all feel that? Did you all feel that you were being heard? Again, you don't have to answer me, but answer to the Swami within and to the Swami here as well. Because that's very, very important. We've got to be absolutely truthful. See, coming here and spending 5 hours, I was told that a few months ago, or not too long ago, Jenny came and she conducted a session in communication. Did you all attend that? Or whoever who attended that? But communication is still one of the basic items that was brought up in the butcher paper. Even as back to basics. It was even brought up in Break the Barrier as well. Communication. So you had an entire session on communication, but still communication is identified as one of the basic elements that we need to work on. Communication is identified as one of the barriers that we need to work on. So what happens to today? Is it just another session that someone comes, talks, gets you all involved in a workshop, and then it's just time pass, or passing cloud as Swami says? And then 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, we talk about the same thing. What scares me, for me as my role as national president in Australia, what scares me is what's going to happen to the next wave of leadership. What's going to happen to the next wave of members? How are we going to give them that leave the organization in the state that it will continue to nurture their spiritual journey? But that starts with us. It's how we practice Swami's teachings, how we bring it alive in solving some of these issues that we have identified, some of these challenges that we have identified, some of these opportunities that we have identified. How do we use the 5 human values that Swami has taught us? Now that doesn't mean, we just go with the 5 human values, laugh, love and all these things. No, again, as I said, being an office bearer in this organization, you will come across challenging moments that you would not even imagine. Because sometimes you even experience miracles of Swami that you would not even imagine. Right? So, it has to be equal. When we have unimaginable grace by Swami, equally the challenges is unimaginable as well. That is fact number 1 that we all have to accept. That is the play of the Lord, which we will never understand. And we should stop asking the question, why this happened, why that happened. The question we should be asking ourselves in anything that has happened, how are we responding to it? And I'm not using the word reaction, because reaction is driven by emotions, and emotions will take over us. We don't have to manage emotions, emotion will manage us. But how are we responding to it responsibly? Understand the situation, talk to the people among us. My challenge to all of you today is, after today, how much will you all continue this conversation? My challenge to you all today is the commitment. How much we will all collectively, because I will ask Uncle Guna, in about 3 months from now, Uncle, those butcher paper, where is it? Has it turned yellow? Is it in someone's storeroom? That's my question, because that's the question I'm asking all my region presidents. Sorry, I shouldn't say mine. All the region presidents in Australia. Tomorrow I'm landing at 7:30 in the morning. 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I have a meeting with all the region presidents there. We've all finished our leadership workshops, almost all the regions, just 1 or 2 regions that's left. And tomorrow we're discussing, okay, how in the last 3 months, what has happened? The 1 or 2 things that we have identified. How have we been able to collectively, with the collective wisdom, with the shared accountability, how have we been able to address some of the issues? If it's still happening, again, let's not, let's be practical and realistic. Things are not going to change overnight. Again, expectations. We have to manage our expectations. If things are still a challenge, revisit the drawing board. Revisit what's in the butcher paper. Look at how are we approaching it. Maybe we have, we have taken an approach that we thought it would work, but it didn't work. Doesn't matter. The one benefit that we have in this organization that Swami has given us an opportunity to be a part of, it is actually, I tell you from my own personal experience, it is actually okay to make some mistakes, because that's where the learning comes. But don't crucify people who make mistakes. Embrace them. Say, okay, fine, let's try something different. Let's do it differently. Again, go back to being respectful in the way how we are approaching it. That's the most important thing. So those pieces of paper that there was a lot of things that was listed out. I can safely tell you, you're not alone. I saw a lot of things that I saw in the different regions in New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria, ACT, that was listed here as well. So you're not alone. There are very common issues that's listed there, which means there is no out of this world rocket science solutions that we have to come up with. These are very simple, basic solutions when it comes to things like study circle, when it comes to things like opening a timing of a center, how we do our budgets and all that. Very, very simple solutions that we have. But I'm not here to give you solutions, because tomorrow morning I go back to Australia and I'm not here. So it's not fair for me to come and tell you this is how you need to do things. You all have to do it collectively. That's the most important thing. So the butcher paper, please collect everything and pass it to Arabi. Yes. If you didn't know, now you know. So, so pass it to her. But she's not going to go back home and put blue tag and paste it on her walls. No. This is going to be the blueprint for the entire country, whether it's at a central level, whether it's at a regional level, whether it's at a national level. My humble ask is everybody to keep reminding each other, okay, we discussed this. On the 16th of March 2024, there was this fellow that came and he spoke and he went off, but what are we doing about it? He's come and gone. What are we doing about it? That's the question we've got to ask ourselves. Revisit that. Are we applying some of the solutions that we have discussed? Are we trying some of the solutions that we have discussed well within the boundaries of the guidelines that Swami has established for us? That is what is most important. Now, as everybody knows who this is? Anybody has any doubts who the person in the orange robe is? So, obviously you all know this guy. My pointer is not working on one. Okay, this guy. Okay, Arvind. He has come, visited us. He's been part of the conference of the retreat. We have listened to him speak at his YouTube. Very, very inspiring, very motivating. He's shared a lot, of Swami's experiences. And that's how, we remember him, right? He helps us relive those moments when Swami was still around. My greatest moment with Arvind, last year at the international conference in California, it was a very, very nice conference, by the way, held at Premanilayam in California. My greatest memory was spending an entire day in Disneyland with Arvind. An entire day, from morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, right up to 7 o'clock at night. So much so we made a joke. All the stormtroopers that you see here, that reminded us of the Sevadals in... But what to me, what that really meant was spirituality, again, is not rigid. You have fun, yes, within the company that Swami has blessed us with. That is what gives us that, we resonate at that same energy level, because we all have that love for Swami. And I tell you, we were sharing experiences. Here you have somebody who lived with Swami every day. I have not had any close proximity with Swami at all. But the miracles we were sharing with each other was as though we both had Swami right next to us. And that's the beauty of our dear Lord. He is there all the time with us. It's a matter of us just realizing that. Grace is always there, by the way. Grace is always there. It's a question of realizing it and tapping that. Swami does not have conditional love. He said love all, serve all. He didn't say love some, serves. No. Love all, serve all. Blanket rule. Help ever, hurt never. Blanket rule. No conditions. It is up for us to actually realize that. So when it comes to the solutions that we were talking about, and with the confidence that Swami is there to guide us, even today, I feel the energy that he's here with all of us, with the confidence that he is there to guide us. Have the faith and the courage that anything that we do, we don't stand like a sore thumb. Sometimes we're very hesitant, we're very apprehensive. We think that, if I do that, I don't want to suggest, I don't want to say anything because it will not be accepted by the norm. It will not be accepted by the masses. So I might as well just keep quiet, someone else can do it. No. This is actually a problem that the mind tends to tell us, no, don't say, don't suggest it because you will end up being a sore thumb. But that's not the case. When you have the faith and the confidence, I heard Brother Dinesh earlier say in his group, be like, the honey where the bees will come. So collectively, be like the sugar that attracts ants. That's where, again, everyone was talking about numbers. Yes, numbers is staring at us, in the face. But when you're like sugar that attracts ants, when you're always happy in what you do, when you're always happy in the company of fellow Sai devotees, who doesn't want to be happy? What does Swami says? Happiness is? You're not even happy saying that. Happiness is? Union with God. So when you are happy all the time, tell me who doesn't want to be happy? Anybody here doesn't want to be happy? Exactly. Everybody wants to be happy. So when Swami is given that, so you have to make sure that everything that we do is respectful, it's loving. There will always be conflicts of personalities, differences of opinions, but that is where we transcend. We transcend and make sure we do it respectfully and lovingly. And collectively, when we do, people will come, they will say, my God, you fellas are always happy, you all are smiling all the time, come what may. Whatever the challenges are, you guys actually get through it together. You navigate through all the obstacles together. That is the most important thing. That's why Swami gives us an opportunity in an office bearer role. That's basically what it is. So, now I'm towards the last few slides, I'm in the home run of the slides. Mahatma Gandhi says, right, be the change that you wish to see in the world. Going back to very common practice of human beings, there's a species called the human beings that just vomits out words and gives comments and everything. And we just, sometimes unsolicited feedback also we will just give. People won't even ask, but we will find that sense of obligation to go and impose upon our feedback to everybody. But then when we are asked to take on responsibilities and do things, we will hesitate. No, when you do it, no. Because it's someone else's responsibility. Be the change that we want to see. Have that sense of confidence. We always say, right, that we are Swami's instruments. If we truly believe that, then have the confidence that he will be the one who will guide. He will be the one who will give the answers. All we have to do is just pray to Swami, communicate with Swami. That's the most important thing. Constantly communicate and pray. Don't go complaining to him. Yes, we can also, but don't only complain to him, but communicate with him as well. Now, this is Lord Muruga's veil. For those of you who don't know, this is Lord Muruga's veil. In essence, the resemblance of this, what it means, is the stem represents the depth of the knowledge. The breadth of the spear represents the broadness of the knowledge. What does that mean for us? It's easy to put a photograph out there and just describe what it is, but what does it actually mean for us? What it means is we need to educate ourselves. We need to empower ourselves. We need to make sure that we read Swami's literature. There's so many books that from his life, Satyam Shivam Sundaram, the Vahini series, there's so many discourses that Swami has shared. And even from time to time, every program that comes, there's a study circle that's provided and that's cascaded to everybody. the guidelines of the organization, which is, by the way, not limited to office bearers only. Even a normal center member also has access or needs to empower themselves with the operational manual of a center, and subsequently, the office bearers manual as well. So have that depth, have that broadness, empower, educate, learn, read, listen to everything that's there to share. But ultimately, all decisions should be as the sharp pointed edge, pointed tip of the spear. Every decision has to be straight on, not sitting on the fence, not it's here also can, there also can. No. Have the depth of the knowledge, have the broadness of the knowledge to arm you with a clear-cut decision, and have the confidence that the decision that you're making is one that's guided by Swami. Don't sit on the fence here and there, because remember, as an office bearer, as a leader, if you're sitting on the fence, then what example is it setting for others? Then, there's no purpose of all this knowledge and everything that we are learning and we are listening to. We often describe butterflies as beautiful species, insects that fly around from flower to flower, very beautiful species, but it all flies around. While butterflies are beautiful, but we shouldn't be like the butterflies that fly around everywhere. Instead, we should be the garden. Everything that we do collectively, we should be the garden that attracts the butterflies to us. Again, it comes back similar to the sugar that attracts ants. When all of us work together respectfully, when all of us work together peacefully, all of us work together lovingly, you will find that people will come and want to be, but that is not our motive. That is not, remember, our motive is not about attracting people. No, this is a byproduct of that. Our motive of working together is so that we can nurture our happiness. We can nurture our spiritual journey, our spiritual growth. That is our focus. Everyone else coming and the growth is a byproduct of that, because they see Swami in everything that we do. This is the bullet train from in Japan. I've sat in this before, from Osaka to Tokyo. Very, very fast. It goes almost about 350 to 400 kilometers an hour. When I was sitting there, on my left, when I was just looked out the window on my left, everything was moving so quickly that I kept turning my head to a point where I was almost getting dizzy and I was almost getting a headache. But when I was looking to the right, there was this fantastic, magnificent view of Mount Fuji that was still, despite how fast the train was traveling. And that's basically what it is. If we continue to look, if our vision continues to look towards everything that happens, all the noise that happens, you'll get dizzy and you'll get sick and you'll get a headache. But turn towards Swami, the magnificence of the stillness of Swami, and you will still travel and achieve and reach your destination. And finally, this is one of the last slides. Very, very simple image that to me explains a lot. All of us together are part and parcel of the boat, different pieces of the small little boat there. In Malaysia we call this the sampan, small little wooden craft that floats on the river. The glue that brings all this together, that forms the boat where everyone sits on it and travels from across the river, the glue is the five values that Swami has given us. You stick to that, you will never go wrong. Now, honestly, I'm telling you, sometimes I get annoyed, sometimes I get irritated, sometimes when some people come and suggest things to me, I'll smack my head and I'll say, don't you know, why are you even coming and asking me this question? But then again, I tell myself, but the purpose why the person is coming and asking the question is maybe we have not explained it proper. Maybe we have not made information available in a manner that they actually understand. So that's a learning. That's why I smack my head and I think to myself, no, I reflect upon it, I'm like, no, maybe this is what Swami wants. So the person has come in the form of Swami to remind me that we have to make things more accessible, more simpler and easier for people to understand. Because the natural human instinct is, but it's there. Again, simple example, office bearers, guidelines, operation manual, it's there, it's been there for years. You just Google it and you'll find it. You go to SSSIO organization, it's there. But sometimes we just have to make it a lot more accessible. So no problem. Be creative. Again, let's be creative in the way how we present information, in the way how we empower and enable our devotees. The important thing is our role as office bearers is just to facilitate. It's not to give instructions. It's just to facilitate. But by far the most important thing is making sure that at the end of our term, when time comes for us to say, okay, my term is done, are we just going to wipe the sweat on our forehead and say, thank God, I don't have to do this anymore? Or are we going to turn around to Swami and say, Swami, I'm still committed, give me the next challenge? Doesn't have to be in the form of an office bearer role. The next challenge may not necessarily, that's your karma. Your karma, perhaps you don't have to be an office bearer again. But fundamentally, it's the commitment to Swami's mission. That is the most important thing. Okay, that's actually my last slide. There were some questions that was being asked, but anything around the workshop that you all would like to, anybody would like to raise? 5 minutes.
Can I
ask
the question?
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Vignesh. Around approaching people to take up office bearer roles, okay? Some common themes or I do not need to be part of the organization to serve. I'm already serving my work. Or people might say that, oh, I'm already serving Swami wherever I am. So I think all those are valid answers. Can you give some pointers or around those yeah.
Sure. My answer to that, I keep it very simple, and it's not just an answer that I give you, I give to anybody who has come, and a very common question sometimes that I get even in Australia as well. Yes, you don't even have to be a Sai devotee to serve Swami, right? Because Swami is in everybody, not just Sai devotees. Yes, you don't even have to be in the organization to serve Swami. 100%, absolutely. But this is an opportunity and a gift that Swami is giving. The role is, when we are approaching someone to take up a role, it's not because I want that person to be in that role. For me, I truly believe that Swami is the one that's identified that person. And that's exactly what I tell that person. Now, at the end of the day, that doesn't mean that immediately, there's a sense of epiphany and then they say, okay, Vignesh, I'm going to take up the role. No, there's still that discovery as well and that self-reflection that they need to do. But my answer to them is, this is an opportunity that Swami is giving, spiritual development, for your spiritual journey, to nourish and nurture your spiritual journey. I do not go and tell you, and I'll tell you honestly, I do not, you can ask anybody in Australia, I do not go and tell someone, please take up the region president role, any roles, because you have the skills, you have this, you have that. I don't tell them that. Because the skills is for them to then connect to whatever the task is ahead or in front of them in the organization. Earlier when we did the round of introductions, everybody is of different skills. So that those skills complement one another. So I don't talk to people about skills. I don't tell them, I want you to do the service role because you've got this. I want to do the devotion role because you sing very well. Because you play the harmonium very well. I don't tell them that. Because they already know that. People who sing, people who play the harmonium, people who play the tabla, they know all of that. So it's stating the obvious. But it's about reminding them why. The reason is because this is an opportunity that's been given by Swami for your spiritual development. And along that journey, of course, you contribute, you commit and you contribute based on what you know and how you can contribute towards that role. That is my genuine response to anybody who comes and asks me that question. So whether it answers the question, I don't know, but that is my response. Because we have to always bring it back. If I give my view and my perception and my opinion, then it's mine. Then the person is taking it up because of what I've told them, not because it's a genuine opportunity by Swami. So we always got to remind. See, even for me, when I was approached to take up the national president role, I'll be very honest with all of you all, very, very honest. And I think everyone can relate to this. I asked myself the question, I'm going to step into a role of a divided organization as a national president. There is no playbook on how to run a divided organization. There is only a playbook on how to run a organization. That's all that I have to stick with, because that was the playbook or guidelines by Swami. And with that confidence, I said, okay. But I also said yes to the role because I know there's a lot more for me to learn. And I tell you, the countless lessons that I've learned just in this last, going to be almost 2 years now in my current role as national president, is second to none. I've never had close proximity interview with Swami at all. Never. Going back to that Disney photo with Arvind, never had. But in the days that I used to go to Prashanthi Nilayam, when I had that opportunity, I went there. My first trip there was in 2008. I had a work trip to go to Puttaparthi, and when I went, before I traveled to Puttaparthi, I transited in Malaysia, and my cousin told me, Ganesh Nataraja, uncle, you know Ganesh, yeah? He told me, Vignesh, if you're going to Bangalore, you're going to make a trip. I had no plans to go, but he said, make a trip to Puttaparthi. Those were his words to me. In addition to that, he told me, when you go to Puttaparthi, if you want to come back with the same slippers that you wore there, make sure your left slippers on the left-hand side of the rack, your right slippers on the right-hand side of the rack. And I followed and I came back with the same footwear. Okay? But, so, when I went there, and all alone by myself, right, I'm cutting the story short just in the interest of time. I'm cutting the story short. In Kulwant Hall, and remember earlier as I said, you know, I grew up with people like Ankar Jaga and Suresh Govin and so many others that have came back and shared their experience with interviews and all that with Swami. So I had a desire. And my desire was, Swami, give me one interview. All I want is just one interview only. Now we all know how Swami would reply to people. Huh? He wouldn't reply immediately. It would take weeks, months. In my case, it took a few years. But this was in the state of meditation, right? So I was communicating with Swami, and I said, give me this one interview. So every time I used to go to Kulwant Hall, and I was fortunate enough, I had multiple work trips to India, so I took that opportunity to go to Puttaparthi. A few years later, I got a reply from Swami, again in that state of contemplation. He said, why are you asking for one interview when I've given you hundreds, if not thousands of interviews? So now, my prayer has changed. I'm no longer asking for the interview, but I'm asking clarification. Give me that explanation. What do you mean by that? You know, I'm only asking for one, but you're not telling me, you've given me hundreds, if not thousands of interviews. In typical Swami style, in his signature style, I didn't get an immediate response. A few more trips. Finally, I got by far the most profound answer to me that I completely stopped asking that question. He said, every interaction you have with each and every individual is an interview that I'm giving you. And that is so true. Everyone has got so many beautiful, wonderful experiences to share that sometimes I feel that I'm experiencing the same thing as well. It's not about comparing, but it's about that sense of realization that, hey, Swami is actually in everyone. It's not that, you know, we just say and acknowledge and tell, you know, Swami is within, Swami is within, Swami is inside everyone. When we're serving the Swami and everybody. Yes, we say and talk about it. But the amount of conversations I've had where people have shared their experiences is so wonderful. So for me, when I get these opportunities to take up a role, not that I go asking for it, but when it comes, no hesitations. Because I know this is a gift from Swami. And that's what I share to everyone else when I go and approach them. Or when someone comes and tells me, this is an opportunity someone has asked me to take up the role, should I take it? Without even blinking, I say, yes, you should. Not because I don't ask, married, no married, children, no children, retired, no. Yes, you should take. You manage your time management, that's another thing. Time management, project management, priority management, resource management, all these things, if you go outside, these cost hundreds and thousands of dollars to get certifications. Here, it's all free. There's so many things. There's a book, Man Management and everything, and these are all Swami's words. How can anything else be more profound than God's words in terms of how we manage our time, priorities and all that? So again, this is the opportunity that Swami gives us at, I wouldn't say zero cost. Obviously there's no business transaction value, but the only thing that is required is commitment. That's it. Only thing that's required is commitment. That's all. See, again, a very long answer to your question. Would you all believe if I tell her I'm a very shy person? Please say yes, please say yes, please say yes. Would you all believe that if I'm a very shy person? Very, very shy. When I was an SSC child, about 2-3 years ago, I used to, my Uncle Naraja's house, Bhajan's. I would go there, sit. My auntie would tell me, Auntie Naraja would tell me, okay, Vignesh, when Bhajans are going on, this is before Bhajan starts, she'll tell me, because she will sit, my uncle will sit in the front on the right hand side of the altar, my auntie will sit on the left hand side of the altar. She will say, I'll turn around and I'll look at you, and that's the signal for you to sing the next bhajan. Okay? I tell you, those were the days, every Fridays, I would be in intense meditation. Eyes will be closed and I won't even open my eyes for the entire 1.5 hours. Intense meditation at that age itself. And she'll come, close your eyes, that's all. So a guy who never even wanted to sing in my own uncle's house for bhajans. Today, if I'm standing here and I'm talking to you all, not because I have the skills or anything of that sort. I told you all earlier itself, you're not going to get a professional session today. This is lower your benchmark session and back to the basics. But if I'm standing here today, it is only because Swami has made it happen. The skills, the confidence, the opportunity, the gift, everything, it is only because of him. That's all, nothing else. I take absolutely no credit, zero credit for everything that's... So, if today, if I didn't present to your expectations, please blame him, don't blame me. Tell him, why on earth did you bring this fella from Australia, okay, across the ditch, and please blame him. But that's it, those are the skills that, we learn, and that Swami has gifted us. In case if this deters any questions, because I give very long answers.
What is your opinion on succession planning, or what is your view on succession planning?
I think it's important. That will be my short answer to it. It is very, very important. As a matter of fact, everything that we have done here today, the entire now passing the 5-hour mark, is a succession planning for the future wave and generation of leaders. Can you imagine if 5 years from now, or 10 years from now, or when these children become young adults, and they are talking about communication, and they are talking about some of the challenges that was listed out in the butcher paper that we spoke about earlier in the 2 breakout sessions, what have we done? Fantastic question that you have asked, Uncle. So that is the other thing that we've got to remember as well. Everything that we do today is the back to the basics and break the barrier. It's as simple as it sounds. It's the foundation. We are resurfacing the foundation and using these as building blocks so that the next generation of leaders have a solid, firm ground to continue to build and progress as part of, I won't say organization because organization is Swami's responsibility, but further progress in their spiritual development, in their spiritual nurture their spiritual life through the organization. And all these that we are doing today is very, very important. We have to embrace, we have to bring people in, but at the same time, we also need to be practical. We live in what I call the paradigm shift. If we go back 10-15 years ago, long answer to your question, we go back 10, 15, possibly even 20 years ago, I grew up, I'll use me as an example. I grew up where in the Hindu religion and community, sun god, moon god, water god, wind god, every manifestation around us, there's a god form. Right? We're all familiar with that. Okay? And no questions asked. Reference first, relevance later. Don't go to temple, one tight slap from the father. So quietly listen and go to the temple. Right? So it's reference first. Don't ask questions, what is in it for me? Nothing. Paradigm shift has happened. We are surrounded by society and everything that drives us towards that. Where today we ask the question, what is in it for me? So it becomes from reverence first to relevance. Now it's relevance first and then reverence. We ask the question, what is in it for me? Only if I see and I'm able to understand what is in it for me, then I will go and break a coconut. Then I will go and put a light at the temple. Then I will come to the center and clap hands even before I graduate towards singing a song. Because I see, okay, there's a relevance factor. So the sun god, moon god, water god, wind god, and all the manifestations of God have all become one. It's called the app god on your phone. Anything you need, it's all on the phone. You want to know the weather, it's there. You want to know the time somewhere else, it's there. You want to order food, it's there. You want to order transport, it's there. That is the society we live in. So interestingly enough, when you think about it, spirituality, it's somewhat in its lowest point. And that's why you see there's so many, people are seeking for answers. Our body physique is built in such a way, everything is outward. 2 eyes look outwards, 2 ears look outwards, everything, our sensories are all outwards. So Swami is reminding us, no, you have to look inwards. All his messages, you got to look inward, inward, inward. So bringing it back to succession planning is very important. Everything that we do, we need to build a solid foundation guided by Swami, using everything that he is prescribed, so that the future generation that has not seen the physical form of Swami, that has seen that formless plate of nuts and dates and peas and whatever that we, cashew nuts, but still sees that Swami in that image. That is what we need to focus on. So succession planning is very, very important. The dynamics between adults and young adults is very important. When I describe the word we do everything together, if we slice it into half, the W represents the wisdom of the adults and the E represents the energy of the young adults. Only then that we is there. That personifies the word we. Then we embrace and the creativity of the organization and how you nurture the pathway of spirituality will be, it's something you need to experience. To me, my Deputy National President, not my deputy, the Deputy National President of Australia is an uncle, Uncle Manivanan from Canberra. Very elderly gentleman. He used to be in Thailand. He used to be worked very closely with Dr. Adong Chumsai, with the Sai School and all that there. So much of wisdom. And we work so well together. Why go back? It goes back. I'm not saying this just just being proud of it. Yes, I am partially, yes. But equally just telling you that we put a lot of emphasis, if between me and Uncle Mani, and this is what we both agree upon. If an elderly gentleman in his 70s, I think he's in his 70s, I think I got his age wrong, but he's definitely older than me. If an elderly gentleman and me can't work together, how can I go and expect the young adults and the adults to work together? We cannot be hypocrites in what we do. Have to practice what we do. So we consciously, we make sure that our conversations are respectable. I know there are certain things that I say, he will have a different opinion and view, we respect it, likewise, vice versa. But for the last 2 years, we have had a phenomenal, I'm very blessed. I feel like in addition to the gift of the role that Swami has given me, he has given me another gift in the form of Uncle Mani as the Deputy President. Succession planning is very important, Uncle. Okay. I think we will wrap up. Now, I'll pass it back to Uncle Guna. There was a question earlier that during lunchtime that I was asked to talk about why the organization split. I think that has been spoken about a lot. There is a lot of information that's already out there in terms of what happened. And I use the term, what happened? Because the why it happened, the secret is this. We will never know why it happened. I can tell you, we will never ever know why it happened. There are a lot of resources there that we can refer to, but in actual fact, we will never know. I used to ask the question myself, why, Swami? Going back to what I said earlier, nothing happens without His will. He's present, His omnipresence, it happened right in front. He wanted it to happen. He made it happen. The question, and sometimes I even ask myself, because in my role I visit all the different centers and regions and states, naturally this question comes. I go back to the altar and I say, Swami, why did you put me in a position that I have to answer the why did it happen? Because I myself don't have the answer for that. Right? But the question that we should be asking is actually not why it happened, because we will never ever get the answer. What happened? Everything is there. It's been shared. We've got a lot of resources that's available. But the actual question we have to ask ourselves is, how are we responding to it? Not how we are reacting, how we are responding. Because it was a very emotionally charged event, even up to today. It's like the Haley comment, you're still seeing the tail end of it. You're still seeing the effects of it. Questions are still being asked, right? So the effects are still very highly charged event that happened, that impacted the organization and the members all around the world. And we're still feeling it until today. Even in today's, we are talking about resources and all that, so we're still feeling it. How are we responding to it? And the how, the answer to the how, that I can give you the answer. Are we responding it lovingly? Are we responding it peacefully? Are we responding it truthfully, or are we, giving our own views and opinions about it? Are we responding it to make sure that there's right conduct? There's dharmic values in everything that we do, and make sure that there's righteousness in what we follow. This is what we have to ask ourselves. It's how we are responding to it, not ask why. Don't waste your time asking why. You'll never ever get the answer. But the answer will come in the how. That is what I genuinely believe. So I think the person who asked me the question is not here, so I hope he answered. But yeah, okay, so it's 3:25. I think we have the hall until 4 o'clock, but we're probably going to start wrapping up. My humble appreciation to each and every one of you for spending your time. I hope it was worth your time. I'm not a professional speaker or anything of that sort. I've only come here to share what has been done, and we find that coming down, that there's, yes, discussions about these challenges and all that has happened, but I think the difference between this and that is how we continue after this. Please don't let today just be a time pass. Please don't let today just be a speck in the dust in terms of, yes, one day we sat down, we wrote something in the butcher paper and then done. The commitment from everyone should be, we should revisit. If today we only, the second breakout session, we only spoke about one or two things, we should revisit everything there and work collectively in terms of how we can resolve it. Work respectfully, that's the most important thing, because that's the example that we are setting to the next generation of leaders. Not just 10 years from now, immediately from now. When again, another apprehension and hesitation about taking office bearer roles is people don't want to get involved in politics. Are we a political organization? Can I get an answer to that? No. Do we have a seat in parliament? Then why do we describe the organization as a political organization? Not just in New Zealand, by the way, even everywhere. The politics is represented and manifests through the emotions. When we are so emotionally attached to our decisions, that is what drives the purview of the politics. This is a spiritual organization. This is a spiritual organization with the opportunity to do service to mankind for the benefit of our spiritual nourishment. That's all there is to it. If anybody comes and tells us that, too much politics, we should have the confidence to say, what politics? The organization, anyone comes around and says, this is not an organization. Same question asked, do we have a seat in parliament? If we don't have a seat in parliament, then in what way are we a political organization? No. But it's the emotions. When we don't have our emotions in check, then it's perceived as as politics. So we are now the torch bearers to distinguish that view of politics. Very, very important. The only way we can do that is again stick to Swami's teachings. The answer is already, this is the only test that the answer is already given. Swami's already given us all the answers even before the test. The test is only to remind us that there are answers there, not to create and go and search for new answers. Don't transform the organization. Organization is there for us to transform ourselves. Now I promise this is the last thing that I will say. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's very humbling and I really appreciate. I've learned a lot from just being present here with all of you. The energy is fantastic, the welcome is great, and I hope I didn't waste your time, and I hope next time when I come back there will be the warm welcome again and not that I knew this fella again. So, thank you so much.
Sir, brothers and sisters, the success of this workshop is yet to be seen. What I'm seeing here before me is the same faces I've seen ever since I took up leadership. These are the committed people. In the Christian community, they say, it's no use talking to the converts because they always make better devotees. So, no point me addressing you all to do better. If not, you won't be here. Because you're committed, you're dedicated, you're seated here. So, it's up to us how to translate the butcher charts into reality so that this organization will move a notch upwards. I won't take your time because time is catching up. I just want to end up with these few thoughts I want you to deeply reflect. And this was said by Swami in the Tri session. I've shared this on some platforms. Swami once asked the students, what is Swami's greatest or the most challenging miracle? Everybody gave answers. As usual, nobody can answer Swami. And Swami said this. How many of us are aware that he is God or Avatar? 3. How many of us know the 1, the 2, the third one have become part of his mission? Let's count ourselves in. We are so blessed of the 8.1 million Swami chose us. We never chose Swami. I think Brother Vicky raised the question in the very beginning. We didn't put up and say, today I want to join Sai movement. He designed it for us. And he's giving us the test now. How do we take this up and leave a legacy for the next generation? So some of us are in the passing phase of our career and our life. The new generation has to move in. Only one thing. Swami has said this, talking about darshan, but it applies in spiritual life. He said, unto whom much is given, much more will be demanded. And I can touch my heart and tell you, the amount that most of you here have sacrificed towards his mission and the organization. I know. So much, consistently, the dedication is non-wavering. Every event, every activity, the same people come and flock. And I feel very bad now that they are like the horses being flocked over and over again. We don't want to burn out. We want other people to come. But today I saw some ladies, some brothers saying, if given an opportunity, I will serve. Come forward. The succession plan, we need one. The time has come. And we have done well ever since the breakout. So let's put aside all differences. Some of the things that came up, some very, very vital points. But we need to identify that the leadership, the members, brothers and sisters, we need to identify all those obstacles and collectively try to overcome it and make this a sprawling organization. If devotees are not coming to the organization, why did Swami say, from my life is my message to your life should be my message? Then we have failed. Otherwise people will be flocking to the centers. Reflect. Every one of us. People must come to the center because they see the light in us. Swami saying, let my darshan flow through you to the people. Let's reflect on that. So that's all I can say. And I hope, thank you so much for coming. And we'll end with one bhajan. And thank you, Bro Vignesh, for coming all the way here to be with us and share with us. He's flying back, within 24 hours going back. And then there's a meeting tomorrow afternoon. Thank you. Sayonara.
If anything, in the last 5.5 hours for you all to take away from today's session is this blank piece of paper. You all be wondering, this guy's gone nuts. Why this blank piece of paper? When you take up an office bearer role, often what happens is we come with our list of expectations. We write down everything we want to achieve, want to do this, that, everything. And we don't have the space in the piece of paper to write down all the lessons that Swami has to teach us. That's why we feel the stress, the burnout, the frustration and everything. But if you take on and accept a role, and this is what I tell everyone, take on and accept the role with a blank piece of paper, you will have all the space to write down the life's lessons that Swami has to teach as part of his gift to us in the office bearer role. This is the most important prop of today's workshop session. So just remember this. Thank you, Sarah.
Jagatpati Hari Sai Gopala
पवित्रं